Hello, everyone. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV, and we are talking transfers today and why West Ham haven't signed anyone. I'm joined from all the way from Leeds by Athers to my right, and
Hello.
to my left. To my left is the part-time Lakers fan, Lucas. How are we doing, Lucas?
Good. Good.
You know what I mean? Right, let's get into it. Tom, what is going on with West Ham, mate, and these transfers? Because it's getting a bit of a joke now, isn't it?
For me personally, I wasn't annoyed until maybe earlier today. I don't know. You may have seen I tweeted.
I see it, yeah.
Because I'm trying my best to remain as calm as possible until the end of the window, because I know the same stuff happens every year, and I get worked up that we're not signing anybody, and all the different sort of like
don't go to bed, Tom.
Connotation, yeah, exactly, like it. Just everything that comes with a West Ham transfer window. But the thing that really bothered me was I saw that obviously Dusan Vlahovic, who is a very big, name at the moment, he's, up there as one of the best young strikers in the world.
Gigantic Balkan bastard.
Exactly. Big clubs are after him. And fair enough. I know we're not going to sign him. He wasn't the point. Anyway, the other day or 2 days ago, Fabrizio Romano tweeted and said, Vlahovic to Juventus, pretty much done deal for nearly 70-odd million quid. They are, Fiorentina, going to look to sign a backup striker or a backup option for when he goes that they can replace him with. So they've identified, he said, Arthur Cabral, somebody that we've been linked with in this window. And today, 2 days later, after they had identified him, they've submitted a bid. It's been accepted, and it's pretty much ready for a typical Fabrizio, here we go. And I just... What? Why can't we do that? Why can't we identify someone, see it as the person that we want, and go and sign the player? It's not rocket science.
It's laughable, isn't it? It's just, we've got to laugh at it, because if we don't, we just completely lose the plot. I did say that, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not surprised with West Ham. That's one thing I will say. I'm definitely 100% not surprised that we are stalling on things. I don't think we've got no money, if I'm being honest. I think we're skint. And like, it's shocking. Lucas, what do you think?
Just typical as always. Just dithering, slapping our hands around, playing patty cake, whatever the hell we're doing. And also in typical fashion, it's like a club gives us a set price for what they want, and we don't even negotiate or haggle. We just basically go for the cheapest option and then present it to them. Like, okay, Coletta Carr, they want, I've seen 17, 20 million. Let's go with 20. All right, we'll give you 15, but we want to loan them. Like, first, that's not how you haggle. Like,
we're not even haggling.
Maybe if you said 15 million, like a permanent buy, like, sure, that's a I guess a solid haggling stance. But at the same time, it's like they've said what they wanted. I mean,
here we go, Lucas. Let's go back to the old days. Marco Boogers, we're going to get him back on loan with an option to buy. We'll take anyone at the minute. I think it's embarrassing, though, Lucas, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, it's bad when you reach the stage where it's like, I don't care who we sign. We need a player in so said position. Like, at this point, at this point in time, I get the whole, like, everyone's talking about the Andy Carroll rumor. Like, honestly, at this fucking point, I just don't give a shit. Get me a fucking backup striker. I know it's a massive step down, but Christ.
It's like we keep getting linked with, was it Diaz? But I can't see that happening now. He's gone, I think he's gone to, where's he gone? There's something wrong, reason why we can't get Diaz from Blackburn. I don't know what it is. I can't remember what it is.
International break currently right now.
I think it might be.
That's Lucas. Don't say that. I'm not annoyed at you for saying that, but people always use that as an excuse that they're on an international break. Bruno Guimaraes, who Newcastle.
Say that name 3 times fast.
Bruno Guimaraes. That is brilliant Brazilian pronunciation as well. Have you know Brazilian Portuguese, even though he's Brazilian, but the language Portuguese. Anyway, Bruno Guimaraes has literally about to sign for Newcastle, but is doing his medical in Brazil. It doesn't have to be done at fucking
The ground.
Spire
Yeah.
Road in
Yeah.
Reading Hospital or wherever it
No,
is,
it's a good-
in where
it's a
they
good
get them
point.
all done that with all the tubes hanging out of them. They can do it in whatever country they want on an international break. That is not an excuse for me.
Mm.
That annoys me all the time. They do the medical wherever they want. You can fax, you can send an email with the
Yeah.
paperwork over. I'm sure they have a printer in Brazil.
The thing
Anyway,
is, though, Tom,
actually.
right? I just don't understand why West Ham are just not proactive. Like, why are we not? Like, is it because we're skint? Is Moyes' hands tied to the summer until he can release a couple of the players? Like, I don't know. I don't get reason why we're like you just said it there. Like Cabral. Now, I'll be honest with you.
We thought we had the answer to that question, but
Like,
it still lingers.
I know, but my own personal opinion on Cabral, was I don't know whether he could have cut it in the Prem. But we have no other option. So if someone said to me Cabral or nothing, I'll just take him. Do you know what I mean?
That's the same with Holzschick. Like, I would take him right now. I don't care what experience
but what
he
I
has.
can't understand is that we're not even pursuing anyone. Even like in the thumbnail, I've got Coletta Carr in there. Right? Let's talk about Coletta Carr. Yeah, he's a perfect centre half for Zuma. So why are we not proactive enough to go and get him?
I don't know, but that's the one thing that really bothers me is, like, apparently by all accounts, I don't know if it's X had said it or somebody else, but apparently Vlasic spoke to Coletta Carr about joining West Ham. So, and obviously, I think he wanted to join last summer. If what happened with his wife and having a kid, I reckon he would have joined last summer. But by all accounts, between 17 to 20 million for somebody that can be your centre half for the next 5 to 10 years, somebody that can easily increase in value. Not just that, the left-sided centre half as well is a snip. Now, I will say the reason that I'm not going ape shit crazy right now is because somebody put a tweet out yesterday. I can't remember who it was, but they showed David Moyes' transfer activity in last year's window and then in the January window before that as well. All of his deals are done in the last 6 days of the window. We saw Bowen on the final day up in the January. We saw Souček was final day in the January. Vlasic was final day in the summer. So I understand that sometimes he does like to wait, but by potentially waiting, it cost us 6 points against both Leeds and Manchester United and has not enabled them time to bed into the team. So,
but the problem is with that, though, Tom, is that he's waiting and waiting and waiting. He could wait for so long, and we might not get no one.
That's true. No, that is 100% true. But the way I'm looking at it is, I'm furious. I'm still pissed off because we still haven't signed it. But I'm trying to look at why David Moyes hasn't done it yet, and maybe he does dither. Don't get me wrong, he does dither. But I'm hoping that in the next, there better be some rumours or some rumblings from X that we're starting to agree deals in the next sort of 4 to 48 hours. Yeah. Otherwise, then I'm really beginning to panic.
But even that, right? There's no rumblings or anything. There's no all we keep hearing and all I keep seeing.
Rejected.
Or we're interested.
We want a loan.
Yeah, for some reason, I understand it. But people say about January windows the hardest window. I don't think so. I think if you pay the money, they'll come. But West Ham just don't.
January window is as straightforward as it comes. But I think the one thing that annoys that I think a lot of people aren't thinking about, which is almost more annoying than what we just talked about. We've been linked with Kamara, who is coming at the end of his contract. Why don't we just pay $25 million for the pair of them?
Yeah, I know. And I see, was it Dieng? Is it Dieng, Senegalese striker, Marseille? I see him score the other day. I see it today before I come on here that we've been looking at him for 8 million. But it's just again, it's just stalling again. I just want to bring up this comment, right? I don't understand why we always leave things to the last minute. I read the other day that Newman has given Moyes targets, but Moyes doesn't like any of them.
Oh my gosh. I really don't want to believe that.
I'll tell you what.
I don't want to believe that.
I'll tell you what, right? But surely, right, Newman must be doing something. He can't be just there and not doing anything at all. Do you know what I mean?
I just, again, I get the whole history of Moyes. So, I'm kind of with Tom. I don't want to freak out, but next 24, 48 hours, I mean, how can we not? I mean, like yesterday, obviously, I really didn't think about transfers because we all know why. But like
Yeah.
today, it's like we're edging so close, and it's like I'm tired. I'm tired of going through the same exact thing. Like it's a difference between like obviously like same old West Ham finishing wherever, but like the transfer window just is so annoying.
Yeah, it's not even. It's not just. Is it annoying though, or is it that the fact that we have got people in charge who have not got a clue what they're doing?
Both.
That's that's the $1 million thing. Tom, what do you think about all this with Newman?
I'm disappointed in a way because, again, it comes back to the whole "what have you been doing for the last God knows
Real
how
quick
long?"
question with Newman. Is he just like does he do the negotiating as well? Like is he supposed to be negotiating and like
So,
calling all
from
the
what I
clubs
understand,
and
he's
stuff?
that part, yes. From what I understand, I don't believe he's like a director of football. He's
No.
not like what Huselos was supposed to be. But even then, when
Yeah.
Huselos was here, David Sullivan was doing most of that. So,
So is
for
he just
me,
a head scout basically?
Basically,
kind of.
he's like chief. Like he's like your chief scout. He's the one who makes the. Like, I
Because
think he's
like
got people who
Because
work
like
for him.
real quick comparison, like in American pro sports, you have a general manager. General manager handles all the contracts, makes all the calls,
Mm,
makes the call basically if we're going to sign somebody. Like with
yeah.
this, it's confusing because he's technically head director of football or whatever, and it
Mm.
doesn't really feel like
He's
he's
the main one, Lucas. He's not the one who negotiates. He's the one who says, right, there's your like, or Anis who says they're head of recruitment. He's the one who goes
okay.
right.
So
He's the one who's
he's not
going
a
to pick.
director of football.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
basically advising. He's like a head of recruitment,
I get
like
it.
serial
Yeah,
advisor sort of thing.
I get it. I was just confused on like because we keep hearing like both, and I'm like, I just need to know which one he is so I know my expectations of him.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. Um, it's a crazy situation. What do you reckon on this, Tom, with Newman?
I just don't understand it, mate. To be honest with you, that's genuinely where my head is at with it all. I'm trying I'm trying my best to back them, to back the guy, to understand
Yeah,
where his head is with it all. But I just don't get it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like we've said for weeks, like before he moved into his job, he needed to identify these targets to Moyes anyway, and it felt like
And he
we
should
got
have
to
already
that
had a
point.
list for Man City.
Exactly, and we kind of got to the beginning and it was nobody's there. But this
yeah,
is why it's so key that everybody talks, because if David Moyes is saying to him, look, these are the signings that or this is the type of player, it's almost like if you go into Football Manager and you sort of say, right, I want this attribute with this player, let me whittle it down and search for it. And if you're good at your job, which Newman supposedly is, you will go off, you will have a list and you'll create. So the fact that he's then gone back to Moyes with these targets and Moyes has supposedly gone, yeah, I don't really like those. For me, this is why you need more than one scout and your son as a scout at the club, because then you've got differing
yeah,
opinions from all different types of scouts that can say, yeah, I like this one, but another scout may say, okay, I like him, but this one does this differently. So, to me, it just, I don't know, that I find that nobody's singing off the same hymn sheet. Everyone's doing their own thing, including David Sullivan, because David Sullivan does his own thing and he pulls like a Sully special from South America out the hat, and everyone goes, whoa, where did that come from? Which the manager didn't know, or the manager didn't
We
okay
might
it.
need one of
So,
those.
well, yeah, but that's for me the thing is that nobody seems to be on the same page. Nobody seems to be talking to one another.
The thing is, though, right, and this is the thing I've got a bit of a gripe with, is who's to blame there? Now, if Newman is doing his job and he's finding players for Moyes, is Moyes the one who's sort of holding us back, so to speak?
Lucas, I'll let you take that. I'm just having to sort something out.
I mean, it's again, I'm sick of like having to try and like really figure out this answer because it's like me, it's a bit of both. And just one day it feels like Moyes is the one dithering, and then the other day it feels like Sullivan and the board are dithering or maybe giving false hope or false promises to Moyes, or like Newman is just not doing a great job. But I mean, it's just so over the place. It really is.
The
And
thing is with
if someone had a strong stance on one of the three options or opinions I just gave, I mean, I would not bat an eye at it. It's all logical.
yeah, but we've seen transfers. This like links, like let's say links that we've seen, like Broja at Southampton. Like we've seen him, like all of a sudden come come up now in conversation. Oh, Broja's about now. We got is it Cannavaro, the Fulham player, Fabio?
Yeah,
I can't remember his surname.
you said it
But
right.
he's
Carvalho.
Carvalho. That's the man, right? He's come up in conversation there. All of a sudden, it's like West Ham are doing a Championship manager special. They see a player perform and they want to go and buy him. It's just no one's doing any scouting, so to speak. Do you know what I mean?
And that's the problem you've got. That's the problem you've got is that everybody's doing their own thing. Listen, I don't. Obviously, behind the scenes, it's not going to be like that. But from the outside looking in, that's what it looks like to the fans. Is that everybody is on a different page. Nobody seems to be doing the right thing. Are we going for this player? Are we doing that? Are we? So it just the whole thing. It just to everyone else, especially like the position that we're in, it just looks a mess. And listen, I know that Newcastle have been backed with, the most oil money in world football, and they'll, spend upwards of near to 200 million because they're that far under the financial fair play. I get all of that. But come on, we're in a position where we are in and around the top four. We've got European football and knockout football to offer at the moment. Surely, why is there not?
Just does not look good.
No, but this is the thing. Like these are all the sort of things. Like we're in London. These are the boxes that people want ticking. If you're a player and you want to come to it, these are all the boxes. We're ticking those boxes. So clearly we would be able to sign some of the better players because of what we have to offer, but yet that isn't happening right now. So I'm just as confused as you guys are, to be honest with you, because I don't understand it.
What do you think about this with Lingard? Let's talk about Lingard, because obviously Coletta Carr would be a great signing. I think we would all love him at the club. But Lingard's been here already, and he should already be in a West Ham shirt permanently. If we had sensible owners, we'd just pay the money last year, got him at the club. Simple as that. Whether Man United wanted.
I've got a question to ask after it's regarding the same thing, but after we say what we have to say.
Yeah. So let's talk about Lingard. Athers. This old Lingard saga is becoming a farce now. Like we've had it with Baka, we've had it with Gomez, we've had it with every Poxy, El Nesri, everyone else. Like we keep getting linked with Lingard, but nothing seems to happen. Is Lingard going to be in a West Ham shirt by the end of this window?
No. For varying reasons. Mine, maybe I may feel differently about them to you. I don't think he will be, simply because I believe that yes, I think we've got to show that we want Jesse Lingard, but I believe now that they've actually put their foot down and said, do you know what? We don't want to strengthen another top four rival or a European football rival. And to be honest with you, I get that. Like, you don't want to sell to what you consider to be your rival in what you're aiming to do. So I do get that.
Because really, that would be incredibly embarrassing if they sold us.
Exactly. It is funny though.
If we did that to someone to strengthen them, we'd be thinking the same thing. But the problem I have with that is Jesse should never have said he'd have stayed at Man United to try and fight for his place. If he'd done that last summer, he could have come to us, no problem. I think it wouldn't have been an issue whatsoever. But because he said he wanted to stay, that's where he's cocked up a little bit, because I don't think he's going to be getting that now. And the fact that the World Cup is coming up and then he wanted to be back in England's plans, now Man United are turning bids and stuff down for him. That's an issue that he's made his bed, so he's going to have to lie in it. But I can't see Man United strength.
It's one of those. He did make his bed, and he has to lie in it. But at the same time, and I don't know if it's because of my hate for Man United, I try to put that aside. I just feel like early on, Ole just gave him an incredibly false promise, and because he's Man United through and through. He just came off a stellar loan spell. Like, when you hear that from the current manager at your childhood club, it's almost like, all right, I believe you. I'll do what I have to do. If Ole didn't say what he said, I think he'd be here currently right now.
I believe that.
I think, I mean, Tom's pretty much bang on. I've been beating this drum for a little bit now. Like, as much as you hate Man United, like, you got to respect that they're not gonna sell Lingard for 5-10 million pounds to strengthen our chances of getting top 4. Because if we get top 4 over them, that's incredibly embarrassing for them. And I mean, it's just going to be great when they want to come in for Rice and we just completely shut them down. But like, this is my question, and I want to get your guys' opinion. I think it is a great question. Do you think Jesse Lingard has built up enough respect from his time with Man United? Because I think from the outside looking in, he has been a good servant to Man United. How long has he been there now?
Well, he's been there 21 years, I think he is.
Yeah. So do you think he's built up enough credit or respect? Like, if he walked into Ralph's office, like, listen, I want to play. I know the situation is weird because I want to go to West Ham, but like, I've been at this club for 21 years. I want to play football. Get me to West Ham. Do you think he's built up enough respect to like get his wishes respected?
Can I just say before James jumps in? For me, I said when Man United were going through the problems that they had, not only this year but last year and everything before, Jesse Lingard was the kind of bloke that he's like a bit of like a Mark Noble to us. You want people in and around the first team that, they may not set the world alight, but they're going to work hard because they understand the task that's in front of them. They know
they know the culture
they're playing for. Exactly, and they know the culture. So for me, I feel like he does, but that Man United dressing room is full of so many egos that it's difficult to do that. And I know there was that picture going around a few weeks ago when Phil Jones played for United for the first time in ages, and he was like jumping up and everybody was walking out with their heads down as they were walking out of the tunnel and stuff. That's because you need players like that sometimes. So I think Jesse is the kind of player that should be able to stand up. But for me, he also strikes me as the kind of person that just would just accept whatever happens. And, you know, if I was him, if I was him, and I had been promised that I was going to get regular playing time, football, etc., and then I didn't get it, I would go in. I would want to kick up a fuss. But to me, Jesse doesn't do that, and I think that's where it kind of lets him down.
So do you, to answer my question, do you think he's built up? Do you think he's been a good enough servant and built up enough respect from Man United that if he walked in, not like handing a transfer request, but listen, if West Ham come calling, like, I want to go, I want to play football. Do you think
personally, I'll finish my bit and then let James go on it. But I think personally, yes, he should be able to do that.
Right.
But I don't think that Man United fans, because they're so bothered.
No, I agree. I don't think it's going to happen.
Like that. No. But I'm just saying, hypothetically, yes, I believe he should be able to say that. But I also believe, from a Man United fan's perspective, yes, they love Lingard, but they don't put him up on a pedestal like they do Ronaldo. So if Ronaldo had a bad game, they're not going to call out Ronaldo for having a bad game.
And it's been really weird on Twitter. Sorry to cut in again, but like, it's been really weird on Twitter seeing like a bunch of Man United supporters, like they I wouldn't say they don't want Lingard anymore, but it's like they're kind of like just let him go, because
this is the problem with Man United is because they had it so good once. They're so just, oh yeah, we don't need him anymore. Personally, for me, remember where you came from is what I would say to the United fans, because at the end of the day, Sir Alex Ferguson took a team that came through the youth system and turned them all into absolute world beaters. I mean, listen, they were already class before they got there, but Alex Ferguson took directly from the academy and he added people around them that were quality players, and he made just, incredible things out of shit, basically. And I think if you're a United fan, I would not bite the hand that feeds in terms of like their academy and stuff like that, because that just, to me, they're just they disrespect some of the homegrown players like that. There was that video, last thing. There was that video of when Jesse was warming up to come on, and somebody had a pop at him and he turned around, he's like, I'm not even on the pitch, mate. Like, give yourself a break, just because your club is run the way that it is, don't target your players that love your club and have come back to help and want the best. So
you would say, yes, you think his wish should be granted?
Yes, I think it should. He's been there long enough.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think that he's built up enough credit and respect, and he's been a great servant. His wishes should be granted and respected, because it's not like, again, we know if he goes to us, it strengthens our chances, weakens theirs. But at the end of the day, it's like, this guy really just wants to play football, and obviously, like, he has a chance to go to Newcastle, but nobody wants to go to that situation. I think at the end of the day, in my opinion, his wishes should be respected, because he's been there for so long, hasn't kicked up a fuss, and if I was him, I would blow up that damn dressing room until I get what I want.
We don't promote that here, Lucas, but to answer your question, because I've heard what both of you just said, Man United should give him a bit of respect. They really should. But I find it laughable that Manchester United are worried about Jesse Lingard coming to West Ham and being
It is low-key a really nice feeling.
Yeah, it's like Jesse Lingard's going to come and turn into prime Messi again. I think it is now or never with Jesse Lingard. That's one thing I will say. I don't think he comes in the summer. I think that ship will sail in the summer, even if he's on a free.
I'm more optimistic that he would come in the summer because of what has happened. Because honestly, in my personal opinion, I always thought if he goes to Newcastle, like, that is just, I just feel like a money grab. But because
I don't think he's after it, though. I don't think he's after it, though.
In my heart, I don't think he is either. But I just knowing that he's not going to go to Newcastle, it gives me positivity for the summer, personally.
The thing is, with what you've just said about loyalty and all that, the problem is there is no loyalty in football anymore. No one really gives a shit, really. Like, as owners, like, they look at him as an asset. He's a pound note to them at the minute. Man United are sort of a stubborn bunch that they will hold out because they don't need 5 million. Like, they're one of the biggest clubs on the planet, if not the biggest club on the planet, like, commercially. So to them, they don't care. Do you know what I mean? They can let him just rot there until he runs his contract down.
I know I'm turning into those a little bit. I got another question for you guys. So, like, I totally get, like,
will you just shut the fuck up?
Lucas is on one, mate. It's only about 10 o'clock in America at the minute. Go on, Lucas, far away, son.
11. This is my cup of coffee this morning. So, like, obviously 6 months left on your contract. Rumored Newcastle was going to pay £10 million, which we all know that's pretty ridiculous. 6 months left on your contract, $10 million loan fee. Like, holy shit, that is a lot. I don't really understand. If I was West Ham, and I get it, like, you don't want to pay like that much for a loan fee, but, like, I don't see the harm in slapping like 15 million, 20 million pounds. Let's just say for a loan, not a loan fee, but, like, you know what? I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm confusing myself.
Lucas, you chill out for 5 seconds, mate. You know what I mean? This
has got me worked up. I just want J-Leagues. I just want J-Leagues back, man.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go off of the Lingard subject, and I'm going to go on to another subject that is unbelievable. And it is unbelievable. Tom, Longelo going to Forest. What do you make of that?
Has he gone?
He's Forest are looking at him, and West Ham are looking to sell Longelo. What do you make of that one?
Looking to sell him? Yeah,
looking to sell him.
You know the point where I said I'm not going to get too angry yet because the window's not done. Fuck me.
It's from what I saw. They're open to either or, and if they were to loan, they would give him a buy option.
Well, basically, Forest are looking to get him, basically, because I think who's their current Who's their current? Is it Spence? Is it? I think they reckon Spence will go back to Borough and he'll be sold to someone else. So they're looking at Longhello, and he's the man for them.
It always gets touchy with the academy, just because, like, don't get me wrong, like, has Longhello really proved anything? No, but is he promising? I would definitely say so. And it, like, just being obviously the Academy of Football, which I think is a kind of drowned out.
Oh, listen, it was the biggest misconception in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I've said this before to James. It's the fact that you go around calling yourselves the Academy of Football and you never bring anyone through. Anyway, that's a story for another day. Carry on.
The problem is with it, the Longhello thing that I've seen, is that we haven't got a left back. Right? We haven't got one who could defend. Or we've got Cresswell, who's decent, but you take him out of the equation, we've got no one. And then we're selling our only left back, who's a proper left back, in Longhello, and we're going to just give it away, basically. Do you know what I mean? If he goes to Forest, that just, to me, just says it all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, just another travesty, honestly. I hate selling academy guys personally, unless it's like something like extremely obvious. Like, I'm still not over Josh Cullen, but I get it. I really like
this comment. What do you make of this comment? You need to trust the management. After Dean Garner, the fans looked muggy with hindsight.
I still don't like that either. I really thought Diagana could have been a swell. I know that's a weird choice of word, but a swell player for us. Like, Diagana right now would be a great bench option. Am I wrong?
For me, I
won't say great, but like, I mean, I'd rather see him come in than Masuaku.
In hindsight now, I feel that it was the right move. We got a lot of money for him. He hasn't done a lot of what West Brom. We signed Ben Rama, and I think Ben Rama's a far better player than Dean Garner.
But do you
100%.
think we needed? But this is how, like, I look at it. Do you think we needed that £17.5 million to sign Ben Rama? Like, I don't think we needed that money to. I
think there's more to it, Lucas. If I'm being honest, and I will say this right now, I believe West Ham are financially in the shit because with the
I agree.
I think the Pellegrini spend has become an issue over the last sort of 2 years. Because don't forget, it's only 2 years ago that he was here. Like, what is it? Moyes come in New Year's Day 2020. So Moyes has been here 2 years, 6 months, and then, you know what I mean? Previous to him. So in a space of 2 years, we've signed some good players, but them players only become good because they've been cheap. Like your Dawsons, your Cafals, and all that. We haven't spent anything.
We've been riding our luck for a while now.
Yeah, and you can only do that. You can only spend that sort of money in a club before.
I think Craig Dawson is our end of the road lottery signing for as cheap as we got him. Like I feel like the next signing we do that's like anywhere around that obviously isn't like a highly rated player, I think will probably end up being shit.
The legend has just commented, a top lad. West Ham are financially done. That's to do with Pella. We were in more debt than we were when GSB took over. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I figured out what I was gonna say about the Lingard thing, and we can move on.
Go on then, mate. Fire away, Lucas.
What I would do, honestly, I would just slap Man United with £20 million. Say they accept it. And then, like, while you're obviously negotiating terms with Lingard, be like, listen, I know we just paid £20 million for you. And obviously nothing's accepted until the player agrees the terms. I'd be like, if you don't want to sign a long-term contract with us, like, you're just going to go back. We only bid £20 million so we can get in negotiation with you and see where your head's at.
The problem is with it is that we're trying to do loans and free transfers and all that. That's the problem. Do you know what I mean? It's poor, like, to say the least. Obviously, you got Coletta Carr, who we would love to see. Lingard is another one. Is there anyone else, Tom, that we're missing that I might have forgotten? Like, we've been linked with the Rennes striker. Is it?
Yeah,
Or Rennes?
Etiki or
mean,
Ekiti or something like that.
Kamara too
He-
for £5 million. That's a
Yeah,
steal.
he's 19 years old.
Yeah, listen. I listened to what I listened to what Gio tweeted earlier. Gio said like he's not watched him a lot, but I've seen the stats on him. He looks like for what he does is ridiculously good. I have not watched him play before.
Yeah,
but you know, this kid is highly rated. There were bigger clubs than us and Newcastle looking at him. But again, it's the same as Holozek. You know, all of a sudden Barcelona have come in because they think he may be a good one for the future. But you know, if you want these kids, you have to pay decent money to get them. So, you know, and the fact that they are younger and they do have more potential, it's going to probably be 25 to 30 million. They're going to want a 20 to 30% sell-on clause for the next time you get rid of him. And the thing is, I think we're so bad at negotiating and that, you know, clubs look at us and they realize that they probably can take the piss on what they ask for because we don't apparently know how to put, you know, 2 and 2 together in terms of transfers and do our business quietly. Listen, I'm not, for the life of me, I don't want anybody in the chat or either YouTube here. I'm not slating X in whatsoever here. I'm not having a dig at him and what he does, how he earns his money. I think he's brilliant for what he does and the service he provides and whatnot. But I don't know another club like that we know most of the inner workings because of what he says. Sometimes I think it's good to know what goes on.
I agree. I think it's a good and bad thing.
Yeah, sometimes it provides not by his doing, but sometimes hearing stuff about transfers, word of mouth spreads, and all of a sudden we become the laughing stock.
He's just a messenger.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not having a go at him. I've met him in real life. He's a very nice bloke, but I don't think it's his fault. But sometimes, like I said, word of mouth spreads, and everybody knows about how shit our business is because it's spoken about, and then everybody finds out, and then it just it's like wildfire. It just spreads, and you know, it's
when that period of time where like he went ghost on Twitter because of like all the shit that he was getting. Like, I never understood it because, like, the guy's literally just a messenger. And because of the stuff he tweets, that is not why clubs are doing this and that.
I'll tell you the reason, though, Lucas. I'll tell you the reason why people get frustrated is because of what's happening now. When they look at West Ham, as a fan, right, and we're all supporters of this club, right, we expect more than just fucking loan signings. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to give anyone the ump. Like I can imagine people's patience are starting to wear thin now. Like me and you done a show at the beginning of the month. Me and you, we set up one night and we said what's going to happen this month, and we all called it. We said that at the end of the day, it's going to be the last sort of 5 days of the window where they're going to start acting. Now, the big question is that are they acting too late? Because if we don't sign anyone, right, I expect every West Ham YouTube channel to call out Moyes and the board to say what is going on, because it is not acceptable, mate. Like, we've got one striker at this club, and yet again he's gone to Jamaica this week. Like, if he picks up an injury,
it's a dangerous road to go down because, like, we all know, we've all negotiated with people and whoever before. Like, the longer you wait, most of the time it doesn't pan out. But there is like little glimmers of hope where it's like the guy that you're negotiating with is probably dreading the fact that he's not getting what he wants, and then he's just gonna like give up and concede. You know what I mean? But like, I hate that game. When you have the money, like I know we say we think we're in debt, but like £20 million. If we don't have £20 million to spend on Coletta, it's worse than we thought.
Yeah, but it's embarrassing though. Like, and Tom will probably vouch for me, because like Tom's been watching West Ham a long time, like me, right? But I see these days years ago. Like, I see us go out and try and get Les Ferdinand and Patrice Evra and people like that. These cheap and cheerful signings, and Arbeloa and all that. And look at us now, right? And people say,
John Carew.
Mate, I've seen some crap. Samasi Abu back in the day, mate. Remember him? He was like, at the end of the day, West Ham should be acting like a big club, going out and just getting these transfers done. Like, now Cabral is gone because he's going to go to Fiorentina. There's no two ways about it. He's there. You know what I mean? That's another one gone. Daka went. Chan's gone. All these players.
Don't talk about Huang Hee-chan. I'm so upset about that. I'm not over that just yet.
Let's talk about Chan.
No, don't. I'll start Charlie off because I had a love affair for this guy because of when I was doing my Ultimate Team videos. There is literally a video of me with like the giving him a love heart symbol after he scored on one of my videos. Fantastic edit if you've not seen it. But for me, the problem I've also got is that supposedly that this Etikiki or Etike or however you say his name, we've gone back in for the exact same bid that Newcastle went in for that got rebuffed by whoever it was, Ren or Stade de Rennes or whoever he plays for. It got rebuffed. So why have you gone in with the same bid? Why?
Because you know what it is, Tom. I'll tell you the reason. I'll tell you the reason why it is. It's because it makes it look like they're trying to do something.
Charlie, that is a lie, and you know
it. Not good enough.
Do you know what I mean?
Not a lie.
It makes it look like they're trying to, trying to do business when in fact they're not doing any.
I just
do you know what I mean?
That,
Tom scouts players on FIFA, pass it on. Well, can you send them over to Newman for God's sake?
I'll tell you what, I'll do a better job by scouting through FIFA than I would anywhere bloody else. The better than Newman's doing.
Yeah, but is it Newman's fault though, Tom? Really? Like if he's recommending players and Moyes is blowing them out, then is it Newman or is it Moyes? And this is what I'm going to come on to like the final part of the show. Is David Moyes at fault here? Because he is not giving. Is he being too negative in the transfer window to a point?
Yes.
Well, yeah, obviously, because the buck ultimately stops with him as well. So I just from head to toe, I'm definitely not googling Huang Hee-chan ones to watch card from FIFA 21. Where is he? Oh, listen, if you've played FIFA 21, you know that this guy's a baller. When he was at Leipzig, he never got on the pitch. Ones to watch Huang Hee-chan. What an absolute goated player. But no, listen, ultimately, at the end of the day, the buck stops with Moyes. He's the one that has the final go. Say you do this. The rest of the people, they can only do their job to a certain extent. Whether they do it well enough or not, I don't know. But we could all, as fans, prioritise in the window, as Jay Woods has said there. It was a striker, it was a left back, and it was a centre back. Part of me says David Moyes likes to get his business done late in the window, so I'm not trying to disillusion myself, somewhat. But then again, I think there has to be a point, like I said, you have to be ready to go straight away. Like we said before, when I was on with you here and we did a transfer show, Everton were willing to put 25 to 30 million pound in two new fullbacks, knowing full well that one more loss and Rafa Benitez was going to get the sack anyway. So whichever manager goes in there, they don't know these signings. They may not have been the signings that he wanted.
You can make the argument. So I was listening to Talk Shit this morning while I was in bed, and someone made a good point. Like you would spend 150 million pounds to not get relegated, correct? Like if you're Newcastle, you would spend that to not get relegated.
I
feel the same way. Not 150 million pounds, obviously, but I feel the same way about like where we're at. Like, say you spend the 60 million pounds right now, and we finish top 4. You make that back, and then way more. I think the risk is worth the gander.
I can't believe it. My nan just rang, and even she said, "Sign some fucking players." No, she didn't. She just wanted to speak to me. I just told her to get lost for 2 minutes. I think this is the thing that Charlie, that is not true. I would actually have to put FIFA in. I haven't played it.
Hammerhead made a good point. Actually, every player is on FIFA.
The thing I would say is that, again, if you, as the manager, like I said, the thing with the two fullbacks at Everton, like I said, when that manager goes in, he may not want those sorts of players. So they've even invested when they knew that Rafa was going to get the chop. And like I said, maybe if we had those signings, hindsight's a beautiful thing. If we'd have had those signings before before the Leeds and Man United game, would we have still lost 6 points? We may have done. You know, having a better centre half in there with Zuma, who unfortunately caught COVID, would that have made a difference than Diop? I think we don't know. It may have done, but I think the position that we're in right now is. I mean, listen. I know what West Ham United said. I know that was stupid business, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, even they were ready to go, knowing that it's stupid. But they were ready to go, knowing.
Whether or not it's stupid, though, Tom, at least they're proactive in what they're doing. At least they know that.
But, that's the thing for me is that, like I said, knowing the position that we're in and how important it is for us to potentially break into the so-called elite clubs in England, in the most prestigious and, you know, monetarily driven and everything else league in the world, the most revenue, all that sort of, you've got a chance to do something special. You've got to be. You can't make any mistakes, is what I'm trying to say. If you're trying to get to that point, you can't make mistakes. And this feels like a mistake that we all knew was kind of coming. And again, after the season we had last year, were they all the right investments that we made in the summer? Yes, and some no. The likes of Kral, etc., that haven't worked out. But we're in such a good position that there was the chance to kick on, and there was the chance to be, for once, a good club from top to bottom, everyone on the same page. But unfortunately, we haven't got
several strikes.
I just want to come in there on something what Tom just said there. He said about we're in a good position. All right, are we really in a good position, or is it because the other teams around us?
No. But I mean, in terms of like what? No, I would say we're in a good position because ultimately, we've got more points at this stage of the season than we ever have done in Premier League history. So clearly there is something there. And the team obviously is one of the best sides we've had in probably the Premier League era in terms of consistency across the board and stuff like that. So I get, in terms of the actual results on the pitch, maybe prior to the Leeds and Man United games, I still think that we as a club were in a good position results-wise. It was time for the Bald, Moyes, Newman, all that to click and be proactive in the transfer window, get our targets done early, get our business so we're not waiting to the final day. And if those two were in hand and they were on the same wavelength, I think it would have really helped us in the window. Like I said, I genuinely believe, and I think every fan from here to the other side of the world, wherever it is you go, we all know that we are that close because of how well we're doing at the moment. And it just feels like there is such a disconnect between the higher ups and what's going on down there, situation with Declan Rice, everything. Like, it's such a precarious time, and it just feels like nobody is on that same wavelength. And I think that is what is ultimately going to let us down. May even be that why Declan leaves in the summer and we don't get European football again next year. So it's such a balancing act. But right now we're not balancing. We're tipping one, downwards. It seems with the last few days of the window.
I was gonna say we're talking about excuse me, being proactive. It's like 5 days left in the window. We basically lost that edge because now we're in the window upon a window within the window. We're in a situation now where it's going to be hard to do what we want to do because let's say, like with Koletikar, 5 days left. They want £20 million. Marseille is going to have no time to replace Colette. I mean, they can obviously you can't, but it's going to be hard to sell your player 5 days left in the window and then replace him in 5 days.
Money.
We've lost that negotiation.
I don't think we have, just because I don't think they've really got the kind of money to be dicking about with stuff like that. And I reckon that they do have they're kind of known for having a lot of
that. I've got to laugh at that comment. James has had more signings on E20 than West Ham. I must admit, I've signed up all the recruits, but that is funny. I must admit. Let me sort of put this question to you before we wrap it up. Do West Ham sign anyone, Tom? Yes or no?
Yes, on the final day of the window. I think we get 2 players in. I think we get a centre-back and maybe an attacking player, but whether that's a striker or not, I don't think. But I if anything's going to happen, I reckon it will be Koletikar, and I would think we'd be stupid to let that go. If we don't get him now, I think we can kiss goodbye. I mean, this is why I put that question to
Yeah.
you with Mitchell when we did the show.
Yeah.
If we don't sign at least 2 players and they are good players, not backup options, I think we finish below 8th. I really do.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. I really do. Lucas, do we sign anyone? Yes or no? If we do, who do we sign?
I'll try and stay. I'll try and stay optimistic. I think we'll sign 2. I'm gonna use my Balkan crystal ball and put into the earth that Coletta Carr will be a West Ham United player by the end of the window. And then I do think we'll get a striker, and I think we're gonna get either that striker or attacking player from Montpellier, whatever that Ligue 1 squad is. I can't pronounce his last name.
Montpellier.
Yes.
It's a great. What a name.
Mivaldi, I think his name is.
Mavidi, the English
Mavidi,
kid.
yes. I think we're either going to get him or Holzcheck. I think Holzcheck is the dire option.
I think that's a dangerous option, if I'm honest, because we're relying on a 19-year-old to come in and try and help us. And we've got 19-year-olds in our ranks who could do that job and all. But
I mean, like Luke said, I'll come over and play striker if I have to. 6'3.5". I'll get my head on something.
Target man.
Yeah, get you up front, mate. You could be the next Andy Carroll.
I've got a decent touch. Anything beyond that, I don't
know. For me, I think if we get Coletta Carr, I'd be very, very happy. If we get Coletta Carr, in, I can go. You know what? Our defense is pretty solid now. Try and get past Coletta Carr and Zuma will be interesting, to say the least. The thing that baffles me is if we get a striker in or an attacking player. We need an attacking option other than Mikel Antonio. If Antonio gets injured for Jamaica this week, he's playing 3 games in 6-7 days, I think it is, right?
I can't decide if I want to watch or not watch if I'm going to jinx him or not. Like if I watch, I feel like that's going to put pressure on him and it'll tear his hamstring. And if I don't watch, I'm just leaving it up in the air for anything to happen.
The thing is, though, we need an attacking option. I don't care who it is, as long as it's someone. Do you know what I mean? It's getting ridiculous at
this point. I really don't care. Like we need the depth badly.
Do you know what I mean? It's getting ridiculous to a point where we're sort of begging there for someone to come in. Like Charlie Walsh, you know what I mean? Get him up front. Do a job. Do you know what I mean? He will do a last 10 minutes of a game, 100%.
I said this before. I get it. I totally respect. Yeah, I mean, I respect the fact that Moyes wants to get the standard or better than what we already have, but like sometimes you just have to fill a void.
Yeah, with
the best that you can get.
Well, Gio said it brilliantly on his Twitter. I don't know if you see it, Tom, about the curtains. You see that about the curtains tweet?
I did see.
Right?
Yeah, I did see that.
And I know what he was saying, but he's bang on the money, isn't it? If we can't find what we want now, go and get someone who isn't as good, or someone who can just cover the role to the summer. Then go and get it. Do you know what I mean? It's just
I can't buy any water from the store, but I need to drink. I will drink tap water.
Listen, all I would say is none of you have seen Charlie's thick boy that he had in Syria, and I know somewhere Charlie in North London is laughing behind his screen right now with pink hair and the biggest nose and chin going. Get him up front, Charlie, is all I would say. And if you have a picture of him, I can't remember if I've got it on my phone or not. Send it to me so at least I can show them quickly whilst I'm on the stream. Thick boy, what a player. He can go up front for us. Patrick, that was his name. Patrick. Shit, it was Patrick.
Get Patrick up, as Charlie says. You know what I mean? So,
is there anyone that you guys are hoping for personally?
I'll tell you what I wouldn't mind.
Haaland, get Nesta Cannavaro, Maldini out of retirement.
I wouldn't mind that Fulham lad. I think he's. Yeah,
it's
I think
it's not a striker though, is he?
He's another one. Yeah, it's the same old thing, isn't it?
He's another attacking midfielder. What's the point? This is why
But
I'm
is
still with
he-
the Lingard stuff. It's like, why? Because that just basically null and voids the Vlasic deal at that point. Like, why have we brought him in for 30 million if he's then going to be down the pecking order another one if we bring Lingard in? It just because Moyes doesn't rotate his players anyway. So I no to the attacking players. I want a striker.
I agree. I agree to a point there. It's one of them ones, isn't it? Like, what do? Do you go with someone like an attacking player, or do you sort of? But then we can't find a striker on this planet, though, Tom. That's the thing that's baffling me, and they're all getting sold off.
Said this. I think you said this a while ago, but I just saw news about Kiefer Moore about to go from Cardiff to Bournemouth. How the hell? Like, I personally think Kiefer Moore would be a decent buy if we were to have got him. If he can go from Cardiff to Bournemouth, where Cardiff are, like, I mean, they're doing all right, but like, if you can go to Cardiff to Bournemouth, why the hell can't we like slap 10 million pounds or something like that for
he only
decent option?
He only performs when he plays for Wales, though. I will say that. I mean, again, it's not that I disagree with you, but
he's
that's
like the Welsh Raheem Sterling. He only likes to play for his country.
This is the thing, though. With players like it's such a big risk. I don't think that's one that would.
What about this one, Tom? All right. What about the nut job at Rangers?
Oh, Alfredo Morelos.
Oh no, he's too much of a bastard.
Yeah. Can you be that much of a bastard that you're too much bastard? I
mean, doesn't he have like 8 career red cards as a striker?
I think it's more than that.
He's one mentalist, mate. Trust me. He's like just a complete nutcase, honestly. That's like having Di Canio, but times that by about 1,000. Do you know what I mean? He goes steaming into someone like. I don't know.
James, can I just quickly share my screen? Can you please accept it just so I can show you all Patrick?
Let's see if I can do it.
Get this boy up front is all I would say. Get this boy up front.
I don't think I can share my screen, Tom.
Okay, I have to show you on my phone.
Yeah, I'll put you on full screen for the audience. So let's have a look.
Get Patrick up front. Is all I would say. That's what we need up front.
That definitely a pro clubs player, right?
No, that's on Pez. That coming at you is scary. Is all I would say. Get Patrick up front. He would do a better job.
That is that's a scary individual.
Well, listen, that is the epitome of what is inside Charlie Walsh's mind. So it's scary enough.
Nightmare.
I've seen geezers like that out on a night out in Romford, mate, like that. So don't worry. 100% clubbing it and then like that. You know what I mean? And that's before the night starts. So yeah, good old Patrick. But yeah, listen, we'll wrap it up there with the transfers. But I don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 days. I really don't. Before we do wrap it up, though, I just want to ask you, though, yeah, what signing, if we do sign people, what would be acceptable, Tom? As in to say, like, do you know, like, if we collect a car, it's only collect a car, is that acceptable or not?
What's your standard, Tom? What won't you be mad at?
Yeah.
Or depressed?
3 signings. If we don't get 3 signings, collect a car, a striker of capable, even if it was a kid or someone, just and
a striker that can move.
Yeah,
in Jeremy Clarkson's world, and striker is what I want. I have written and book. Sorry, that was a Jeremy Clarkson. I see Charlie Walsh is now going to laugh in the chat, and nobody else knows, but it's just what me and Charlie said stupid shit to each other. I want and striker. And then I want Kaletikar. That is my centre-back choice. And then ultimately, I'd love a left-back as well. But I don't think the left-back will happen. Do you know what one I tweeted about this the other day? And listen, the Broha one, I love Broha. I tweeted about him a couple of months ago when I thought he is the definition of just, and the word's gone from my brain, but he's everywhere. Like, he's a nightmare, basically, to defenders. He's
caused us stuff about exit season.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's just a menace constantly. The pressing, everything. I love what I've seen from him this season. But for me, the left back one as well really annoys me because the kid that's just gone from Nice to Watford, Hassan Kamara. I really like what I saw of him. I watched a Watford game, not the Norwich one, but the one before that. I think it was. I can't remember. I think we missed out on him. He looks a real threat, both attacking, defensive, the pace, everything else. He kind of fits what we like to see in a fullback almost. A bit annoyed we maybe didn't go for him, but if it's anything less than and centre back, which is Kaleta for me, and striker, which is anybody at this point, I would be disappointed. But ultimately, I really wanted 3 signings in this window, but I know we're probably not going to get that. So if they're the 2, and striker of note, and centre back in Kaleta. And if it's not Kaleta, I'll be fuming. I'd be mega fuming.
So if it's Phillips, would you be fuming?
No, less fuming. I don't mind him.
That I was gonna say, ideally, like in a realist.
Oh my god, sorry. It's just occurred to me. Liverpool were literally asking for 7 million for Divock Origi. I completely even forgot about that. They were putting £7 to £9 million price tag on Origi. I would even take Origi at this point. I think he's a very good player and he's underused at Liverpool. 7 to 9 million.
I told James the other day on a show, I think it's absolutely asinine.
As a 10, as 11, as a 12.
if Moyes doesn't think Divock Origi is the standard or maybe a little better than Mikel Antonio.
Lucas, did you appreciate that reference?
Yes.
Lucas, you are an American. That's what I'm going to say.
As a 9, as a 10, as 11, as a 12.
Oh, I love it.
The unmitigated gall.
I was going to say, in an ideal, realistic,
blasphemous,
perfect world. No.
You've done the American.
How about them Cowboys? What can go wrong will go wrong.
So
in a realistic world, an ideal world, I would like to see Kaleta and striker.
Yeah.
But I would settle for Nat Phillips. That's as low as I'll go. Nat Phillips.
The thing is, I think Liverpool in a position where we are really not any competition for them.
No. Actually, no. Nat Phillips cannot be. It just popped in my head like Tom. Nat Phillips cannot be bought. If Liverpool want £15 million for Nat Phillips and we won't pay 15 to 20 million for Kaleta, I'll lose the plot.
I think as well, like Man United, Spurs.
I was going to say I would settle for Nat Phillips. That just popped in my head, and that just made me so infuriated.
Triggered.
That was like a Croatian hitman, wasn't it, Tom?
That was, yes. Fucking quite scary. Don't send that back, Lucas. I've already been headbutted once this week by Rebecca. I don't want another one. I think for me, Liverpool, they don't see us as a direct rival. Them, Chelsea, to a certain extent, when they're firing all cylinders, and City are firing away, going to be the top 3 teams for constant, next few years at least. But at the moment, if it was a Spurs player or an Arsenal player or a United player that we were trying to buy, I don't think they want to sell to us. But if it's Liverpool, I think if we pay what they want, they're not asking too much, especially like Origi, the fact that they were quoting 7 to 9 million, it's a steal if that's the case. So I think if Liverpool would sell them to us,
that's a good deal.
But just get the both of them. Get them both for 20 to 25 million, and I would not complain. That's where I'm at. Those two. I think Phillips he's highly underrated. I mean, he sent Zlatan for an absolute. I don't know if you saw it in the Champions League. Cruyff turned Zlatan in his own penalty area. I think he's very underrated. I think he's a proper English hard-nosed centre half who doesn't mind getting stuck into a tackle, and he's got a good footballing brain on him. So I wouldn't mind. But I think out of the two, I think I would like Kaleta, but I wouldn't be as disappointed if it was Phillips instead of someone like, from the Championship who we've been linked with.
What about Tarkowski?
No.
Yeah,
I saw enough of him against Chelsea, or is it City, to think absolutely not. He's been atrocious. Out of the two, if you're talking, I'd rather have Ben Mee, but I know that's not going to happen. But
Ben Mee is a baller.
Saying. Out of the two, I'd rather Ben Mee. So.
Well, we will find out, gents. We will find out.
I've hit severe depression thinking about the Nat Phillips Kaleta thing.
Thanks for that, James. Really good show. Can't wait to do another.
The only benefit.
I'm here all week.
The only benefit with Nat Phillips is that his wages would not be as expensive as Kaleta. But if you are paying, I'm sorry, if you're paying 15
But
million pounds
Lucas,
for
that's
Nat
the
Phillips,
going
you've lost
rate
the
for
plot.
top players. The top players, the going rate of the
Yeah,
big wages.
he
That's
is,
how you do
he is
it.
superb. He's so good.
Christ, if you don't pay the top wages, you're not going to get the top
Lucas
players.
has
That's how
got a
it
love
fucking
affair
works.
with Kaleta, mate. I mean, if he signs,
No,
mate, Lucas got a shrine over his
I'll
head.
take Tarkowski,
all
obviously,
the
over Phillips.
Balkans.
I'll take
all the Balkans.
I just do not. I've
Like
never
that.
rated Nat
All the
Phillips. I
Balkans.
never will.
all the Balkans.
All the Balkans are like that.
A bit of docking going on between all the
Balkan
Balkans.
friends.
Yeah.
Friends.
Does that mean we'll sign him up, Lucas?
Charlie, that is a strong
Hey,
opinion down
just
there.
like Vlasic, I'll do whatever I can. I'll talk.
Charlie,
Yeah.
that is a strong opinion, Charlie. That was all I'll say.
I would take Tarkowski
that?
over Nat Phillips.
Oh,
That's Charlie. That's Charlie being Charlie. Don't worry about it.
I'll take Phil Jones over Nat Phillips. I don't care. Get him in.
See, I'll leave it on this one.
Yes.
Get Lovren in.
I go back to my original one. I'd even take Chris Smalling. Realistically,
Yeah.
I'd take a Smalling.
I'll take Dom Perignon and Armani.
Well, we will find out, gents. We will. Anyway, I want to thank both of you for coming on today. Really do appreciate you coming on, mate. We've talked transfers. We haven't signed anyone. Are we going to sign anyone? Will remain to be seen. Probably not. Like, they will put us through this. But we will see. Hopefully, they see sense, though. I will say that. I really do. Like, we need players, and there's no joke. Like, Mikel Antonio goes to Jamaica and gets injured. You watch how fast their checkbook will come
He goes
out.
to Jamaica and he gets a bit.
I am hoping.
He gets a bit sold on smoking the reefer. We won't see him
You're
again.
done now.
You're done now. Your blood clot.
I just
I know, mate.
I'm praying that he only plays like 2 matches. If he plays all 3, I'm gonna.
If he
It's gonna be
plays all
squeaky.
3, mate.
It's gonna be squeaky bum time.
No, listen. It's gonna be one of the two. He's either going to play all 3 and come back injured,
or
he's
play
gonna
none.
He's going to play all 3, score about 7 goals, come back to us, and then can't hit fucking cow's arse with a banjo. He'll be shit.
You just know it, don't you? You just know it. Anyway, Tom, thanks for coming on, son. Always a pleasure. Lucas, same to you, mate. Lucas, go and have a coffee or something, mate. Look,
I'm off to slip my wrist, thanks to you.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
I'm here all week.
I have a penknife handy. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I should have probably
Disclaimer.
done that on screen. Sorry for any trigger warnings.
Disclaimer: 1-800 get help.
Well, these boys might be back again soon at some point in their lives, but probably not.
To be fair, at this point, I'd rather actually go and get a headbutt.
If we don't
by
sign
Rebecca
anyone,
again. I was going to go call Esther Ransom, but I don't think I need to now. I think I'll just get Rebecca to nut me again.
If we don't sign anyone this window, don't ever invite me back on here. I'll be.
If we don't sign anyone this window, close your
I'll be
channel
negative
down.
Nat
It's
Phillips.
your fault.
It's my fault, mate.
I'm going to
If
be
they do
so
sign
depressed.
some people, I'll be over
Lucas,
the bloody
shut
moon.
up.
If we don't
I'm
sign
going to start
anyone,
turning on Lucas now. Shut up, Lucas.
if we don't sign anyone, I'm making a burner, and I'm just going to be tossing terrible things out into the world.
Well, listen,
No.
I hope you don't toss that thing out into the world because the world doesn't need that.
That's what I was going to say. No tossing here, Lucas. No tossing here, son. Do you know what I mean?
Words,
Anyway,
words, people.
Yeah.
Words.
Lucas, you got too many words.
Last time I tossed one out into the world, I got Rebecca pregnant, so I probably won't do that for a while.
Yeah. Well, if you do like the content that's on this channel, please do subscribe. It goes a long way. You know what I mean? You've got 2 comedians and you've got me in the middle, like being the referee. But yeah, please like the video also.
You got 2 tosses either side of you.
Oh, dear. Well,
Yeah, that's
Turn-
it. Wipe
the
your
bell
eyes,
on.
mate. We've been tossing. Wipe your eyes, mate.
Turn the bell on. Turn that bell on. Turn it on.
Anyway, right, when these 2 shut up, then I can end this stream. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's been fun. It's been good. Will we sign anyone? Only David Moyes knows, really, if I'm honest. But get it sorted out, Dave, at the end of the day.
Does David Moyes know?
Yeah, he does. I
don't even think Moyes knows what he's doing, mate. At the end of the day, but we will find out. Anyway, that's enough from us. It's Wednesday. These 2 are off to do some tossing, and I'm off to have a cup of tea and a serious think about our transfers. Anyway, bye for now. All the best, and come on, you Irons.